If over time we're wanting to encourage them to move in a relaxed posture as they're pushing forward, let's not forget that a horse in a relaxed posture is going to be a horse that has its head down, its neck down, they're seeking down. That's the way we tend to agree in many disciplines that that's how a horse looks when it's going well. We all have been in a position where you think you're going to force that to happen, to put their head down and make them work. And really, it's patience and tact and timing and executing movements in a way that have a horse explore that they can move their body, that helps keep them in a relaxed posture. And we talked for a second about how a horse in an excited state or a non-relaxed posture would be what we would call inverted, would be more head up, hollow backed. We looked at the skeleton and talked about what that would mean for a horse if we're on a horse that's not being nicely ridden forward into a receiving hand and giving some direction. So we're just going to watch Tad as he works for a little bit. Just notice the subtle things that he's asking, maybe things that you've tried to get going with your horse. We talk a lot all week. I've been talking about, and I'm sure Cynthia has as well, about it's essentially pressure and release when we're working with these animals. It's eliciting a response through a little bit of pressure, whether it's physical or energetic, and then showing them a little bit of a release to say, hey, I know that you know that I feel that you know this. And then showing them that I hear you and let's work together, and then increase the pressure as you're needed. So watch a little discussion just at the walk, mother of all gates, of the things we're getting done. I'm going to take a breather and hand it back to Mimi.
So we're going to take a moment here as Tad is still walking and working and having his communication with the horse. His wife Kelly is going to give a little description about the preparation that went into getting to this point even today. So Kelly.
Good evening, good afternoon, and I just was thinking about things that would help me if I was sitting in your shoes down there at the other end. So listen carefully, because I'm going to give you the secret of Tad's success. And I'm going to work it backwards. You guys saw him get on, and he didn't use stirrups to get on. There's a reason for everything this man does, and the reason he did that is because every time you step in a stirrup, what do you do to a horse's back? You pull it out, you pull it sideways. And everything we want from them is symmetry. So now let's work it backwards. Before he put the saddle on, this horse wore the Thera-Tree. And inside that saddle is basically a giant Thera-Tree. You guys can figure that out later. I'm not going to talk about that, but that's a big part of his process, and it's the mission he's been on, to basically be able to tap into the full potential of the horse through the work that he's done. So backing up, before he came here, Tad stopped his work, he took a shower, he did about an hour and 20 minutes worth of very difficult exercises before he even got in the car to come here. So he didn't have to warm up when he got on. He's arriving ready to ride for this horse. So any warm up he's doing is for the horse, not for him. And he's fully present and able to communicate what he needs to through his seating hands and legs. And then backing it up further, and then I'll hand this microphone over, is if you go back to Tad's childhood, he started eating with his left hand, brushing his teeth with his left hand, doing as many things left-handed as he could, but he's not left-handed. So, you know, when you think about the details that it takes to become a symmetrical rider, or ballet dancer, or just great athlete that can throw with either hand. You know, I think that that's what you want to be thinking about. What things can you do right now when you're not even on a horse that will ultimately serve you at Tad's age? Which I'm not going to tell you, but he was 21 when he won the 76 Olympics. You do that.
Thanks, Kelly. So, a couple of things that I like to always point out to my students whenever we get this opportunity to watch Tad ride is how patient he is. His timing and of that give and release, pressure and release. And he does always start at the sitting trot. So he starts very connected with the horse. And again, you know, you all have seen plenty of people saw on the horse's corners of the mouth to get the head down. And Tad never will be seen doing that. You will see him use his leg, ride the horse forward, take pressure on the rein, maybe have a little give take on one side versus both sides. But you will see him be very thoughtful about what he does. And this stand here, just starting and warming up, he typically, this is a little more relaxed of stand. So he typically is one that's a little on the quieter side, but he normally will be a little more upright. Again, if you look at his back, I see soft, relaxed muscles, soft eye. This horse is not concerned about what this horseman is doing on his back. He is trying to understand what he's asking him and trying to comply and work together with him and be a partner. And I just find it always amazing to see how every horse I've ever seen Tad get on here and elsewhere, he takes this time and the horses trust him, try for him, and as they do it, it is not out of strength, pressure, fear. It is out of, again, relaxation, finding good balance, good rhythm, all the things that you want in the long run for the horse.
I would add that as we watch him warming up the horse, he's clear to me about what it is that he's asking of the horse at each moment that he's asking about it, whether it's just a left bend or a little forward or a change of bend. One thing I noticed that he's not doing, which as a rider, especially as everyone's watching, it would be very tempting to shorten up the reins and take the contact on this horse without riding the horse up into the contact. And my sense is that he's waiting on the horse, and then if we watch him, we wait, it'll be there. And it won't look like he's done anything, and all of a sudden there it is. So quiet, tactful, clear, patient, developing a little bit of this spring in the horse's step and the horse's back. He's not being shy to be careful of the horse's back. He's not, you know, starting with a sitting trot is a bold move of someone who would, if you wondered about your horse maybe being a horse that wants to be a little inverted or wants to be a little worried, his seat as the handshake of the beginning of this friendship of we're going to work together and here we go. I think that that's something I noticed.
I'd also like to say I love the fact that Tad never rides with a spur as the special magic button on the horse. He uses his leg correctly. He uses his whole leg. He uses his seat. He communicates with all parts of his leg that is touching the saddle or the horse's side. And again, it's just the timing of it that if you can watch, see where there is the pressure and release the pressure and lessen of the pressure, all of it. Again, this horse now working well. He's engaging his hind end. He's tracking evenly. Not to say he doesn't do these things, but he's doing them, I would say, more consistently at an earlier point in his ride. And as well with that, as he does that more consistently, he again is very relaxed. This is definitely one that as he goes along, if he gets pressured, he can start to worry a little bit, and I don't see that at all in his movement, in his body, in his carriage. Does anybody else see anything? What do you all see? Anybody? I know you don't have a microphone, but we can hear you. But they have pizza in their mouth. Yeah. No one has anything? No one sees anything. Open your eyes, ladies. Somebody? Nobody. So you haven't seen this horse at another moment in time. What'd you say?
His arms through their shoulder coming further under him, and his shoulders are getting more free.
Yeah, he's engaging his hind end further underneath his belly. Shoulders are more free.
He's more free in the front end. His stride is grown.
Stride is grown, right? Not by running him off his feet, but by him again relaxing and coming underneath himself in good balance. Good observations. Anything else you all see? Yeah.
He's been licking and chewing since the beginning.
Licking and chewing, yes. So licking and chewing we know is a good sign in our horses, right? And I want to tell you, because I was standing there while Tad groomed and tacked up, he licked and chewed and took at least 4 to 5 big breaths and relaxed as he tacked up. And I don't think that's probably normal always for him. I think he probably in his lifetime has been tacked up by lots of different people, some in a hurry, some not in a hurry, some to get him to the ring. And so you could see this horse with his licking and chewing and relaxation in the barn start to know that this was going to be a good ride, a good day. And I think that is a big part of what Tad also is always trying to get and communicate with the horse. Anybody else? See anything else? I think Tad is very good in terms of also whenever I watch him ride, he will stay on a circle in one direction for a little while. And you'll see him there just take his time. You know, he's not just making a circle, he's having conversations about details within that circle. Where is that horse's outside hind foot stepping underneath of his body? How's the horse coming up through his withers and his back? And just staying there until the horse gets it, understands it. Other things I see with him is, again, more consistency. If you noticed in the beginning, he would sort of soften and give through his jaw, and then he would resist again. And we're seeing multiple steps, multiple circles, where he's just there. And this is, again, getting softer, more relaxed as it goes along. Forward from the leg, not quick in pace.
So it's been pointed out that he's been not just traveling on the rail, right? You guys are noticing his use of what I call in my training little flips and flops, little shapes. Those are the things that Cynthia's been bringing to you all. It's yoga for your horse. It's also just a chance of, can you find a part of their body and check in with it and affect it, and then use it and then put it back in the box for the next moment you need to use it.
Again, you can look at the circular track on the ground as it's drying out as he travels around. But the circle, every step of the circle in that bend is consistent. It's not bend the head, bend the hip, it's just very soft, continuous arc of the horse as he stays between his leg to his hand on track. And again, he's asking it to stay there, not holding it, not forcing it. And the horse is finding better balance and better rhythm and stride as he does it.
Just gonna do a little breakthrough moment in the way the horse is moving.
And again, you can see that there, that transition, sitting trot to rising trot, and the horse stayed soft, long, low, ground covering stride. And connected with him. Notice also, I know somebody said licking and chewing. Notice what the tail is doing. That's the other part you want to see. His tail is relaxed and swinging at the other end of the spine, is following and moving along just happily. Interesting, he does carry the tail slightly to the left, it looks like, but the tail does have a lot of movement in it now. And I truly believe that that also shows that relaxation totally through the whole horse. And here we have again a little forward lengthening of stride and staying again, connected, relaxed.
Seems to have gotten rid of a few small resistances, and now he's in the game in a different way, more forward. You can ask more.
And again, these are details, that's quality. Anybody can trot around the ring, right? But we're not just trying to be anybody, right? That's why y'all are here. You want to know the best. You want to understand how to make it happen, how to be consistent. And this is really showing you the details, the nuances that you want to be able to evaluate, see, and try to understand how to develop in every horse you get to work with. And I think we're seeing the beginning parts of a little bit more lateral movement there. Again, Tad making sure the horse understands what his leg is saying to the horse and how that horse can physically move their body in the mannerism that he's going to want to develop even more again. So and probably from this angle, you might be able to see the beginnings of a little shoulder in there, a little shoulder forward as we go along, and how smoothly, again, moving in, moving out of that. And the discussion that we watched for a moment over there at the walk was the preparation, little haunches in here. And again, as you all know, you're looking for 3 tracks, not 4 tracks. Again, the horse should maintain that rhythm, forwardness. Yeah, and forward is always the reward. So the release of pressure isn't always stopping and getting a treat. I say that and my students will laugh at me because I give too many treats. But it is the release of pressure and going forward and straight. And again, watch again as Tad is using the sitting trot to the rising trot to again communicate to the horse, get his hind feet and back engaged as the horse lifts up through his back at the sitting trot. I think is, again, just a moment to watch and see that knowledge and experience in that timing and feel. Another little haunches in over there. And again, Ted's riding off the rail, so he has the ability to ask his horse to do whatever he is wanting to do and planning to do. But the horse isn't anticipating, it's not worrying about what's happening. Again, a nice little change of bend and then change of direction while staying connected. Yes, a reverse turn. Many of you heard that today, right, Cynthia? And again, here, little haunches in this direction. And again, a little lateral work and then a little freedom of go forward and straight. Every time it goes forward and straight, I see it, the horse relax again and be like, wow, I was good. I feel good about myself. Again, you want the horse to understand you're asking, respond in the correct way, and again, be your partner.
This is a very nice horse, but as he's shifted, as Tad brings him back and then sends him a little lateral work and then brings him back and then sends him forward again, each time he sends him out in front of his leg, there's a little bit more spring and a little bit more swing and a little bit more quality to the gait. It's a little bit more like watching a waterfall as he goes forward each time. And that's something that's being cultivated out. This isn't just add a spur and grind him off. The horse is looking like an athlete to me.
And lengthening and not forging. We have one of our horses that will get just forging non-stop because it's not engaging its hind end in a balanced manner. He just gets flat. You'll see that this one's starting to lengthen and engage, but it's not forging at all, but he's stepping up under his belly quite well.